All right, welcome. This is part two of the Warriors versus Rockets that happened on January 20th. Really quick, I'm just gonna cut straight to the point about some, just kind of like some psychology of the basketball game right now, and how Steph Curry is being treated and seen around the league. All-Star game is coming up, and I do believe that Curry does not necessarily get the respect that I don't want to even say deserves, because as a man, you got to respect someone, especially if they're in the NBA, whether they came from the G League or not. Just people just got to respect one another, especially on the court. And it mind boggles me about the disrespect that Curry gets, and from some of the prominent leaders in the NBA. I'm gonna name LeBron, CP3, Wade, and Melo. These tight knit guys. Melo not as much, because Melo is just, like, he's Melo. He's down to earth. He's cool. He's chill. He could care less, as long as he gets his money and his points and his shots. He's cool. But no, for real though, Melo's playing a lot better, and OKC is making a lot better decisions. But anyways, to the point, these guys don't respect Curry. And when it comes down to it, you've seen that type of player where you come and you play in pickup, whether it's in the gym or in high school, and you just like, I know I can guard this guy. This guy's flimsy, this guy's skinny, but and you can admit this guy has a stroke. He has a nice shot, or he has a nice handle. He's not the typical dominant player. He doesn't dominate with his body, with his physique. And just being quite real, these guys they don't like him. Not only they do not respect him, they don't like him. And CP3 is one of those biggest ones, especially when Curry has been dominating him these past few years. CP3, as you can see, subtle hints. Watch the game on ESPN. ESPN3, you can rewatch it. It's on replay. The subtle things that Chris Paul does to Steph Curry. He plays definitely more aggressive. And he's overall just his antics that he does on and off the floor. At the end of the game, you watch the Rockets game, he's waving a sarcastic bye, like, get off the court, to the coaches of the Warriors. And he wants to win that bad. He's a poor sport. He's a sore loser. And LeBron does it more subtly, because he definitely has a bigger image than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the worst player presidents the league has ever seen. He puts on a facade, and this guy is going to get called out sooner or later for who he really is. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp did that the other day in calling him out. It is what it is. He should have gotten suspended, just like James Harden should have. If the Warrior players went to another locker room trying to confront, the rule is the rule. They're going to get suspended too. And I understand that these next two games that they have are national televised games, and you don't want to suspend those two guys. But once again, Chris Paul gets away with his antics. All right. Now I'm going to show you some film and how it went down, and what the Warriors can do better, and just some key things that you may have missed while watching the game, or that aren't in these highlights that you see all over, whether it's MLG, SEMO, Chris Move, or something like that. All right, I'm going to keep it real. Kevin Looney is a great matchup against the Rockets. Here he plays great defense for a lengthy guy his size, but, if you watch, Chris Paul shuffles his feet and gets bailed out there. That should have been called for a travel. His length blocking Tucker's layup. And here comes another great isolation defense. Chris Paul just cannot shake this guy. Looney does a good job by watching his chest while defending him, stays on his feet. And Chris Paul with an excellent two-handed pass. Curry needs to learn that. And here Curry has played some good isolation defense. Gets a strip. And watch Chris Paul after he gets a strip. He's trying to pull Curry. Good thing Curry ran out of there quick in time, but Curry makes a bad decision there. Durant's a little frustrated, like, what are you doing? I had a dunk. And this is where Kerr, watch this on Wired. Kerr, I don't think is necessarily being completely himself. Essentially, I think Kerr is not giving the right advice by saying, I wish I was you and stuff. It's not completely himself. Curry needs to step it up and play better. Simple. No sweet talking, man. Right there, that's the type of move that I don't understand. Why isn't Durant getting that call? Watch this travel. Oh, yeah, that ain't going to be called. Good D, Patrick. And right here, look at this, hand check. That should be an and one. Good thing Patrick don't flop like that, but that's an armbar. Watch this. Watch this offensive foul. Chris Paul, flop. And then he throws the ball at the ref. He's mad at the ref. That's a technical. He gets away with all this stuff, man. Good D. Good hustle, Pat. Hopefully we'll get a call. And then right here we see a good two-hand pass by Chris Paul. That's what Curry needs to learn, two-hand passing. And we see that flop by Curry. I'm gonna give it to them. Curry kicks out his legs. And look at this offensive foul. Oh my goodness, man. He's trying to get the contact. But he gets the best of Looney here. But still, I'd take this isolation, honestly, anytime. He's not cooking Looney. On this play, he did make that jumper, but watch the rest. And Curry with some smart off-ball defense. But look at this. Nothing. Bad decision-making. He needs to work on that. And Chris Paul makes him pay. So, guys, just watching those highlights again, these are some highlights you're not necessarily going to see in those big YouTube highlights. But, Chris Paul got away with the travel on that first isolation play that Kevin Looney was guarding him. Watch him shuffle both of his feet. He gets bailed out there. And I like it when they isolate on him. Chris Paul is definitely going to up his toolbox. That's typically what he does when he can't really, when he has difficulty. That's just his game. He's a competitor, and he's going to improve. But Kevin Looney also is going to improve as well. And I like that matchup. I like that quote-unquote mismatch the Rockets think that they have. And Iguodala did not play this game. I think he would have definitely helped defensively. He would have stayed on his feet a couple times. The Warrior guards were caught in the air, fouling Capella or Nene. And Zaza's not a good matchup against these Rockets. He's just not. He doesn't jump to contest shots. He is physical. I think maybe he can be in there when Nene's in there, per se. But I don't know. I like David West. He definitely makes them pay in the paint. The Rockets definitely try bringing him out and ISO on him. Definitely they like using Chris Paul to go against D West on that mismatch. But honestly, I'd take it because D West doesn't take crap. He's going to give him the physicality that the Warriors need. He's going to give him that edge when Draymond's not on. And honestly, he's not really going to give it to Capella the way Zaza was giving it to him. Zaza was pretty much giving him 2 points, silver platter. And Capella looked like an all-star with his Euro, his dribble, pretty much 72 feet down the court on one play. And, they didn't have Iggy, but that's not the reason they lost because Nick Young played a good part. He played offensively. He gave an offensive fuel that Iguodala wouldn't have done. But the Warriors have nothing to worry about if they play hard, they bring their A game. And one thing that I really, really need to emphasize on, first with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, you are not Kobe Bryant. Your turnaround fadeaway jumper, you can work on in the offseason. I don't think that's something you can work on, especially with less than 2 minutes in the game of a tight 4-point game. So, watch the highlights on that. It was pretty ridiculous how he tried doing a turnaround. Draymond got pissed, made it very clear that he did not like that decision he made, especially with 10 seconds on the clock. You still got some time to move the ball around. And Klay, you got to be better when making that decision. And with Curry, I know in the first half you definitely were making these sloppy turnovers, unforced turnovers. One thing I really wish you can work on. I know I'm not a professional NBA basketball player, but most of us can. We watch, we see, and I'm not here to compare you to other point guards and say you should grab this, you should grab that. But a basic fundamental that I really think that would really help and elevate your game even more to the next level is making these type of passes that aren't necessarily fancy. What I mean is stick to the fundamentals. And if you don't know them, learn them. I've seen you do them in hints and spurts. But quite honestly, you Warrior fans, you Steph Curry fans, watch the highlights from 2010, 2011, 2009, even college. The dude had some nice assists, some good passes, and not even assists generally. They didn't necessarily have to shoot the ball right after. He created for other players and made the simple, two-handed, chest pass, two-handed, bounce pass, whatever it could be. And you see Steph Curry, he'll get a pick on the wing of a three-point line, left or right, and when he sees that double coming, even if it's not aggressive, he stops his dribble. If he continues his dribble, you notice his head is down. And that's something Steph Curry needs to work on. He needs to be able to either not stop his dribble and 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 look up to see who's open, or he needs to be ready to get that pass out quick, two-handed. Chris Paul, I counted, had 3 passes in the second half that led to and ones in the paint. 3 passes directly. He was double teamed on every single one of those. And every single one of those passes, he squeezed that ball through. You don't need to be Chris Paul to be able to do that. You need to be able to just grab the ball and push it through. I have 2 of those highlights in this clip. You can go watch it. He squeezed the ball through and it led to an and one. You don't see Steph Curry doing that. You see people like Kyrie, CP3, John Wall at times. Sometimes you just got to grab it with 2 hands and forget the physicality. You're going to get hit, but you got to make that extra effort to get that ball through. And you see Steph Curry getting these wild, over the side, kind of like chucking it, like you're chucking, kind of like a catapult, chucking those passes. No, those aren't professional passes, and it's something that reminiscent of the NBA Finals when he's doing the behind the back pass. I know he had it the other day to Durant, and that was kind of frustrating because it's just like, bro, make the simple pass. You don't have to go fancy. And if he goes 2 hands, it's going to help. And that's something I really think Curry can work on, making that simple pass. When he gets that double, if he is going to stop his dribble, he needs to make sure he knows where he's passing. Because he stops his dribble a lot, then he waits for the defense to collapse even more, and then he doesn't know what to do. He's 6'4". He's not 6'8". He needs to get that ball he needs to know what he's doing. So as a point guard, what you learn is don't stop your dribble unless you know what you're going to do. And that's one thing that he really can improve on. It will elevate his game completely because there's times where he just looks like, honestly, like a D-League player when he's going out there. Not saying that he is. He's a 2-time MVP, unanimous. Great player when he puts his mind to it. But in these type of situations, you're going to lose games. And hopefully you don't lose those in the playoffs. You don't want to look back and regret and say, you know what? I wish I would have made that simple pass. I wish I would have done this. Other than that, I think he let his team down today. Klay Thompson, so far you're working on your dribbling game, your playmaking. And yeah, great game, Nick Young. Good shooting, good playmaking, good decision making. Patrick McCall, great overall pesky defense on Chris Paul. You got under his skin a little bit. And yeah, bring your A game next week against the Celtics on ABC. I hope to cover that. Stay tuned, guys. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions. I'll answer in the next podcast/highlights. My editing is literally below beginner. Bear with me. I'm in nursing school right now, and I'm just doing this because I love it. And if you guys have any insights or anything like that, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. Hope you guys like it. Take care, y'all. I'm out.